This episode of Philly Fame TV is sponsored by Top Dog Law. Now y'all already know who to call for any accidents or injury cases. If you want that top dollar, you better get that Top Dog. You can hit him up on Instagram at Top Dog Law or visit his website www.topdoglaw.com. Philly Fame. Alright, welcome back to Philly Fame TV. Once again, appreciate everybody who been tuning in and tapping in. If this your first episode that you tuning in and tapping into, y'all know, make sure y'all like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. You know, on this episode, this is episode 14. And on this episode, we're going to cover, another Philadelphia legend. Meek Mill. What happened to Meek Mill and where is he now? Now, obviously, if you've been following Meek, he a public figure, a celebrity, so a lot of people obviously know where he at now. So that's not the focus of this particular episode. We ain't really going to focus too much on that. And also because he a celebrity and a public figure, a lot of his story well documented. A lot of people pretty much know a lot about Meek. A lot of his story has been in the public. He been known since a young boy. So a lot of stuff we ain't going to spend too much time on, or, we might briefly touch on. But this mainly going to, be about his Philly come up, early years, and, the whole headshot movement and all of that type stuff. Like, we're going to get into that mostly. We're going to touch on, my interactions with him, my rapport with him, me working with him and stuff like that. And, my perspective. Like, all these episodes, like, I put the disclaimer out there for people who just tuning into this one and haven't tuned into the past episodes. Like, so this is not Meek official story, per se, because like I say, you got other documentaries and stuff that tell that type of story. So we just gonna give them the Philly Fame edition. But it's definitely gonna be a special episode. Gonna give y'all some stories y'all never heard before and all of that type of stuff. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, I didn't get a chance to do a full-length interview with him like I hoped to. That's definitely one of my goals, so I could base a lot of this on. But, hopefully one day I get a chance to do a joint with him. But if you know his story, he come from 23rd and Berks down north. And, he used to be around that area as far as like from 18th Street to 26th Street, from Diamond, Cecil B. Moore, all in that little area around there down north. So, he come up with, his mom, Kathy, older sister, Nashima, aka Nah Boogie. She later on had a son, Tweet Mac, that's Meek nephew. But, he came up with his mom and his sister. His dad got killed when he was young, like 5 years old, something like that. All of this is well documented. I even came across some footage of Meek as a young boy, him dancing with a girl at a block party down north. When he was a young boy. Meek was a regular young boy in the hood growing up, and the area that he from, a lot of other people are from too, like a lot of rappers. If you watch my NH episode, then that I touched on how him and NH kind of grew up together. They knew each other as young boys and stuff like that. And a couple other of them headshot dudes grew up around there, Young Bob and all that. So he knew all of them as young boys and all that down north. Like I touched on, his dad got killed when he was young. His dad from South Philly. South Philly side. So Meek mom's side, that's Kathy Williams, Nashima Williams, Robert Rameek Williams. His dad's side is the Parkers. His dad name was Robert Parker. He got uncle named Ronald Parker. And I believe O'Malley last name is Parker, if I ain't mistaken. So O'Malley is his cousin through that side, his dad's side. And so they knew each other young because he used to be at South Philly on the weekends and stuff at his grandma's house. So, and at some point in time, him and Tiffy, he know Tiffy from being, a young boy too, being down South Philly all early days and all of that.
Me and Meek knew each other since we was kids. Basically, his uncle messed with my aunt, and then we formed our own relationship with Melly and everybody else, like my cousins and them, they was deep and we was deep. You know what I'm saying? They from the other side of the tracks, like Christian Street and all that. You know what I'm saying? And we from over here, so we used to go over there, we used to go to their house. They used to come over here, they come to our house. You know what I'm saying? And then as we got older, you know what I mean, we start riding bikes and playing ball, niggas rapping, and a lot of the teenage shit, going to school, skating. You know what I'm saying? You see that in a lot of South Philly culture. Everybody skating and all that. Waiters, meet. You know what I'm saying? That's a South Philly thing. St. Charles. That's on the other side of the track. That's where they from. You know what I'm saying? So that was like the competition down here. You know what I'm saying? It was like skating and basketball and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
So now let's touch on, back to his early years in North Philly. Growing up, going to school and all of that. He ended up, starting his first rap group. The first rap group that he was a part of was with NH. Like I touched on the NH episode for those who've seen that. Lights Out Click, him, NH, Pep Shooter, and a couple other people. I mean, I got an interview with NH and Pep Shooter. They both speaking about this.
It was like I said, me and Meek went to the same schools. I'm from 25th and Bricks, Johnson Home. Meek from a block away. Young Bob is from the other block away. So he always been my friend. You feel me? So like me and Meek, like we had a different relationship than Bob. And Bob was a little older than us. That's kind of like our old head. But like I used to go to Meek crib, write raps, everything. Like we had this old head named Bobby Locke. He had a studio in his basement. Me and Meek family, we started recording in his basement. We was making a bunch of songs together and shit. They had started this Lights Out Click shit. Me, Pep Shooter, and him. And we was running with that shit for a little minute. And like that was my guy. I go to his crib and he come through, he holler at me every time. He around the way, he holler at me. Every time he anywhere, he asked, yo, where H at? I mean, so like we was on that level, like, you know what I mean? So like, we was like that. That's my nigga.
That, I think it's that summer, or coming into the summer, my man Ty come to me like, yo, I got this, my man, he not rap, he hot. So I'm like, who? Like, you ain't gonna believe me. Like, you see him every day. We be together every day. So I'm like, who? He like, Meek. So I'm like, Meek can rap? He like, yeah, he hot. I'm like, alright, so I'm gonna rap for me. He like, say no more. Later on that day, we at the Pile, 23rd Street. Meek rapped for me. Same thing with NH. We go, I'm rapping, he rapping, I'm rapping, he rapping. He ain't have a lot of raps back then. He just started. Rap. I'm like, yeah, you nice, man. You want to get the label? And he was forward. Like he was looking to like find some, like a home, I guess, so to speak. Signed Meek. I mean, that's how I found out his real name. I ain't know his real, I thought his real name was Meek back then. His real name, stage name, his name was just Meek Millions. And me and Ty, and we just started working on tapes and shit.
And also, Meek, at some point, like a year or two ago, he did an interview with a guy named Speedy Mormon, and he actually touched on, him being a part of Lights Out Click early on. He didn't really get too far in the detail about it, but he definitely let it be known that, that was one of the first groups, was the first group that he was a part of prior to him being down with Bloodhounds and Headshots and all that, which we'll get into later. I mean, and like I touched on, he was a young boy down north, and he actually had, a brief little cameo in the goddamn video early on. The back in the day, they had shot a video down north. Pharrell down there, the Clips, Ab Lava, Roscoe P. Me had got a little cameo. He's one of the kids. They had got a little scene with kids riding bikes in that joint. Me had got a little scene in that. So he started riding, bikes early. We come to know him later for riding the dirt bikes and all that. So he started off young boy riding pedal bikes and all that. So now let's briefly touch on, how I kind of came across Meek early on. Like I say, started rapping early with NH, Pep Shooter, Lights Out, Click, and all that. He been rapping since a young boy. You know, like I said, I'm gonna keep referencing my NH episode that I just dropped because I touched on a lot of this. For far as him, them rapping together as kids, going to each other's houses, writing together, and then being a part of this group together and all of that. So fast forward a little bit, let's get to like 2002, 2003 time. You know, Club Flow was the wave. They had Industry Tuesdays. You know, they had down Delaware Avenue. That's where it was located at. And, you know, everybody in the city used to come down there. They get they shine. This was like the only platform in the city for underground rappers to come out, perform these songs. Then they had a Hot 16 battle at the end for those who battle wanted to get in and get their name off and be the champion of that. So everybody in the city used to come down that joint. Mind you, at the time, you know, Running with Hollow, he got the wave. So, you know, Paper Chasers got the wave. So, you know, Paper Chasers got that joint on smash pretty much. But everybody used to be down there, everybody showing love and all of that. And I used to see Meek down there. He used to be down there, John. Now, a lot of different rappers used to be down there, but some of the rappers from this era wasn't down there as much. Like, I ain't see a lot of the guys from Headshots wave. A lot of them wasn't down there as heavy like that. But Meek, one of the guys I definitely remember seeing for sure. Like, and I'll get to that later on and all that. But obviously, I didn't know who he was. He just was, you know, a guy that was there, like one of the rappers that was there, like all the other rappers. And I believe at the time, obviously, that he was in high school. I believe he was going to Strawberry Mansion, if I ain't mistaken. And he used to come down that joint. So he was probably one of the youngest guys. Like, like, there was a bunch of young people there, but he was definitely one of the youngest coming through. So now let's fast forward to like 04, 03, 04. Yeah. So I'm hearing this tape, so I'm starting to hear about this dude named Meek Mills. Like, I'm starting to hear little songs, little freestyles and stuff. Like, stuff starting to circulate a little bit. I obviously didn't know this was the same guy that I saw before. Like, I just heard his name or whatever. Then I think the first DVD I actually seen him on was the Drama DVD, if I am mistaken, either the Drama DVD or the Block Captains DVD. I don't remember which one I seen first. I think it might have been the Drama John. He was going at Reed. I think I seen that one first. And then once I seen it and I seen his face, I'm like, oh, I remember, bro. I remember his face from being down there. Obviously, I know his name, know who he was. But once I seen his face, I'm like, oh, this who Meek Mill is? Like, this who Meek Mills is? Meek Mills at the time, not Meek Mill. So I'm like, damn. So I'm starting to put two and two together. Like, damn, that's crazy. The boy who I was hearing his music, hearing his songs, one of my homies, he used to be playing this stuff all the time. I used to love Meek, early Meek. Freestyles and all that. Used to be playing them little joints, so I definitely was familiar. Then when I seen his face, I put two and two together. Like, damn, that's the boy from Club Flow and all that. So now, you know, like I say, he was going at Reed at the time, so that was big because Reed had a name at the time, so that drew a lot of attention. So that definitely caught my attention instantly when I seen him on the DVD. Now, let's get the R DVD. Because we had the, you know, Bananas 1 DVD that dropped in like 2004, I want to say. Yeah, 2004. And then after the DVD dropped, you know, we was filming for the next one, which would have been Bananas 2. So Face was filming at the time. So, you know, like I said, down Club Flow, that was the wave. So we had got, you know, a lot of footage down there from Bananas 1 DVD at that time. We was pretty much documenting what was going on with us and what was going on with some of the people that we knew. So then once the DVD came out, it's the same thing. Down Club Flow getting footage, all that. And it's even more liver because we got a DVD out now, so everybody knows what's going on. So long story short, I wasn't there this day, and Face was doing, you know, majority of the film. At this time, I wasn't really doing the filming and all this stuff yet. So Face out there with the DVDs, and he out there with the camera. And a couple people out there buying the DVDs. Meek, one of them. Meek out there. My brother told me the story a minute ago when it first happened. When we first found out who Meek was, he was like, damn, like, I remember when Bull asked me to buy a DVD off me. And mind you, this is a different time, like I said, 2004. So the economy and all that in the city was different. So the DVDs was going for $20. You know, later on, DVDs started going for like $10 and $5 and all that. But at this time, the early DVD era, they was going for $20. Like I said, Meek a young boy, probably like 14 at the time, maybe like 14, maybe 15. So he told my brother, like, I ain't got 20, I got 10. I mean, my brother said, you know, he gave him that joint for 10. And he asked him, like, yo, can I spit something on the camera? Because he was recording people out there on club. I mean, like I said, outside Club Flow, he was recording people. So after Meek got the DVD, asked, can he spit something on the camera? My brother was like, yeah, go ahead, I mean. And then he gave him that verse, like, that verse that he gave him at that time. Like,
Yeah, it's Meek Mill. Listen, give me your O, I stew that shit. Whip it rock, hit the block, and I move that shit. Nigga, I can show you how to do that shit. You pull your hammer on me, you better use that shit. I swear to God, dog, cause I'll let this fucking 5 off. A hollow will rip through your head, come out your eyeball. Trade pound, crack crowns, Meek Mill, bloodhound. Grimy, thirsty, bow that you heard me. Riding with a chopper, dog, never mind the mouth and all. If you say you bought it, dog, grab a strap and pop it off. Back down, 4 pound, Meek Mill, bloodhound. Grimy, thirsty, problems of morning, starving and hungry, looking for a plate to snatch the fuse and get your body snatched. Act like you ain't having that. Call me Meek Mill when I don't play that shit. I keep a K with 50 shots and I spray that shit. Pussy, if you don't mean it, don't say that shit. Cause the shell size of an L to make a Maybach flip.
he gave him that joint. And then and behind him, like, if you pay attention, I think Young Bob walked past. At the time, Young Bob was nobody. He was down there and trying to get in the mix like everybody else. Like, so Meek and Bob was down there, you know what I mean? Just trying to get in the mix, so that was the place to be. But neither one of them was known at the time. So Meek gave that verse, Hattie spit out that drum, D Jones spit. I mean, this when he was early rapping. Tech 9 spit. I mean, it was like a little cipher out there, pretty much. I mean, that Meek was a part of. But Had was the main one who was known at the time, outside out of all of them, because he was on a couple DVDs. He was on our first DVD, Bananas One, and he was on a couple other DVDs by the time we filmed that footage. So had a little wave, but none of the Meek or D Jones or Tech 9, none of them was known. So that was sort of footage was filmed 2004. I mean, but we ain't ended up dropping the footage yet because, you know, some stuff happened. We were supposed to put out the DVD, some discrepancies or whatever. We ain't gonna get into it, but pretty much we didn't put the DVD out. So we had the footage, we just never dropped it. I mean, so then fast forward a little bit, that's when, you know, the other DVDs come out, Drama DVD and Block Captains DVD. But Face filmed the footage, like I said, so I haven't seen none of this footage yet. I mean, I wasn't even editing or nothing at the time, so I ain't even know none of the footage that we had. So fast forward a little bit, 2006, mind you, we filmed the footage 2004. We ain't dropped the DVD, so 2006 come along, that's when I start, I mean, editing and shit like that. So I was like, man, we gonna take all the footage that we ain't put out from 2004, and we just gonna put that shit out and call it, like, instead of Bananas 2, we gonna call it 1.5. I mean, just lost footage, pretty much. Lost tapes, as we called it, lost apes, I mean. So I'm going through the footage, putting it together, and that's when I came across the Meek footage. I'm like, damn, like, I ain't even, I mean, I reckon, and at the time, Meek, like I said, in 2006, Meek had a little name at this time. So then I go back and see, like, damn, we had footage of him back in 2004. So then we start, I mean, I put the DVD together, put that footage out, and somebody took that clip, I mean, put it on YouTube, I mean, so a lot of people seen it from that too. Like, so that was just crazy that we got that early content from Meek before he started ruling, but we ain't put it out till like 2 years later. I mean, so the first person that actually had footage of him though, that's documented, was Slick Heavy Spitters. I think Meek was like 13. I mean, and I don't know if he put it out right away. He might have put it out later. I mean, once Meek got a little name, like I said, because at the time he wasn't known. So when he filmed the footage, I don't think he put it out. But once Meek got a little name, I think that's when he put it out. I mean, but
Let them all blow, man. Let them all know that I'm back around. I'm taxing now. Meek Mill clapping now. Niggas thinking it's sweet till I run up with that AR. Let off and blow a motherfucker face off. I got that yay hard. Man, my block poppin'. Everything coppin'. At least an 8-ball. Niggas play hard till I put the collie by him and leave they ass stretched like Ollie.
so I think he was one of the first people that had footage of him. I don't think Big Star, had no early footage of Meek. You know what I mean? I don't think Meek made none of them big star joints. I ain't never seen leak no old Meek shit. I don't know. But he might have. I don't know. I just didn't see it. But the first DVD, that footage he was documented on was Heavy Spitters. But the first DVD I seen him on was, I think, the drama DVD. Him and Reed going back and forth. You know what I mean? They was going back and forth on that DVD. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break. Give y'all a word from one of our local sponsors. This episode of Philly Fame TV is brought to you by 1212 plant-based hair care products. These products are good for men and women and best used in barbershops and hair salons. You could pick up some 1212 products at Hairbuzz and Hairtown in Philadelphia. Also shop online 12haircare.com for all deliveries. Now back to regular scheduled programming. Now let's touch on, him, clicking up with Bloodhounds. I touched on his early group like South Click. Now let's touch on, the Bloodhounds. Now, like I said early on, he was hanging down South Philly during the weekends. But I believe when he turned around like 16 years old, he started hanging down there like more heavy. I mean, getting in the mix down there, getting in the streets down there, stuff like that. Like, so probably like 15, 16, he started hanging down there more. And that's kind of how the whole Bloodhound situation, linking up and clicking up with them. So down South Philly area, I believe his grandmama and them from like 18th and Catherine. So he used to be around that area. Snyder Ave, all around, that area. And we actually did an interview with Young Pooh early. Early in our Philly Fame wave, when we was doing them interviews and all that. We caught Young Pooh and all that. That was through Qua. Shout out to Qua, RP Qua. Yeah, got killed, a little minute ago. But yeah, he had connected us with Young Pooh. I already knew Young Pooh. That's my guy. He came to one of our ciphers early on, our first Philly Fame cipher. He was at that joint. So
just let's take him back a little bit to how that whole situation came together, how you came to be a part of that group and all of that. Take the people back on that.
Well, that's family, you know what I'm saying? So that whole situation, it's all good. Ain't nothing going on with that. That's just sandbox shit. You know what I'm saying? Sandbox. That's love. Everybody A1. Shout out to my boys. Mel Love, Meek Mel, that nigga Love. Niggas grinding.
Young Pooh, he ain't really, there's one thing about Meek peoples, if y'all ain't, you notice, like a lot of them do interviews, and the ones that did, they don't really talk about, Meek and all that stuff too much. So he touched on the situation, but he ain't really get too much into it or speak too much about it. But I did get an interview with him, and I did ask him about, the Bloodhounds and all that, how that came together, and his response was, what it was. Shout out to Young Pooh though, that's my man, that's my guy. So now the whole Headshots connection come through, cause Meek from North, he from Birch Street, right around the corner from Young Bob. They literally from around the corner from each other. So he knew Young Bob from Young, so Young Bob get rolling with the Headshots, and and Meek and the Bloodhounds, it only made sense, So Young Bob kind of told that story too. I got an interview with Bob. He spoke on, how that whole thing came together from his perspective.
So mind you, I got just different artists from around the neighborhood, different artists I know, this was when Wall Street, the Ciceros, the NH, even Wide Deuce. I don't know, you remember Wide Deuce? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wide Deuce. They was all from the hood though, so niggas used to just be bringing music. I used to put them on mixtape or whatsoever. So, and in the midst of that, I ran into Meek. And Meek from my hood, he from 23rd and Birch. I'm from 24th and Nars. So, we always knew each other whatsoever and shit. But he rapped. He rapped with Pep Shooter. You remember Pep Shooter? Mm-hmm. Rapped with Pep Shooter. And him, Pep Shooter, and H had it. And H had it, John. They was called Lights Out. They used to be a group too. I don't know if you know that. But they all used to
So
be
you saying NH, Meek Mill,
Meek, Pep, and Pep Shooter. They used to be a rap group.
and you said they was called Lights Out?
Yeah, Lights Out, like Lights Out Click or something like that. So now we get to like Headshot 32, and I'm featuring everybody. And by this time, Meek kind of rolling from just being featured on the mixtape. But then Meek brought along the Bloodhounds. The Bloodhounds was Meek Mill, Mel Love, that nigga Lil Young Pope. They was from South Philly. Meek used to be up north and down South Philly. So he brought along them. So they had a hot mixtape. They had a lot of songs. So I put it together on the mixtape after some time went by where it's dope people asking about them now. I put it together on the mixtape. We used to go down like Industry Tuesdays to what's that, Flow?
Yeah,
Larry and all them. And that's where that's where I got like some of the vision from. I see like different artists down there. Like that's where I met like Hollow Man, Chris, Shellyano and all them, and just bumping shoulders with them and shit. And I got like, damn. Oh wow, we really doing this now and shit.
So Young Bob was, he was rolling with the mixtapes. Early, that's how he kind of got rolling. Then, the DVD situation came along eventually, and he got rolling with it, and it really picked up. That shit really was popping, with the beef stuff, like, the headshots, like, cause like I said, with the Meek and Reed stuff already was going on, before the headshot DVD situation. Like I said, I seen that on the Drama DVD and the Block Captains DVD, and that was like 2005. So that was before, they had the headshots beef and all of that. So that stuff was already kind of going on. And then once the whole Top Class versus Touch Money situation kicked off, the DVD really was popping. Like, that whole wave was popping. So, I'll briefly touch on, how that came about. Like I said, reading Meek stuff then started, and I believe that came about, in my opinion, from Reed having a wave. He being a guy, you know how it goes, especially at that time. That was a 50 Cent era. Like, you go at whoever is hot, and get your name. Like, whoever's popping. Like, in Philly, you battle. Well, that's the era, period, not just Philly, but that's the era where you would go battle whoever was hot. You try to battle them to get your name. If somebody hot and you battle them and you beat them, then everybody gonna be saying you nice, you hot, or whatever the case may be. So, on that Drama DVD, I believe it was the Drama DVD, they was going back and forth on there, Reed and Meek, about, who hit who up to try battle, whatever the case may be. Like, Reed tell a story about Meek coming through his church. He didn't know who he was, and he was talking about he trying to battle him. And then Meek said, no, I ain't try to reach out to him. He hit me up first and all this, then the third.
Like, I don't know where Meek Mills came from. All I know is when I had my chirp, it came up on my chirp. Like when you got a chirp, if it ain't stored in, just numbers come up.
You can see it. This Reed Dollars right here.
So I'm like, yo, what's good? He like, who this? He like, it's Meek Mills. I'm like, who you? He like, nothing, you Reed, right? I'm like, hey, like, well, so I'm just trying to battle. I'm like, what are you talking about? I start snapping, like, what are you talking about, dog? You want to battle? He like, no, it's for the sport. It's for the sport. You know what I'm saying?
I don't chirp this nigga. This nigga called my phone early in the morning, asking for permission. Could he do a song about me? This nigga's a bitch.
I'm like, no, dog, fuck out of here. And on that vibe, so I guess he got a little pipe, got his little rascals to gang up on me and shit. You know what I'm saying? But
calling my phone, you know what I'm saying? I got love for you, Cheek, Bugsy, all them niggas. But you know what I'm saying, I ain't trying to go through nothing, I'm just trying to battle. Niggas a bitch, man. All that shit he talking on them tracks is not true. Faggot ass boy, Reed Dollar.
My next CD about to be the shit. AAP, Addressing All Problems, 32 tracks. So if we got beef, don't be scared, niggas.
SWP.
Southwest.
So, in my opinion, like, I believe that, Reed was the guy at the time. He had the name, so I believe Meek. Meek was trying to get at him, was trying to battle him. I believe that story. So that's why I wanted to get an interview with Meek at some point in time to get him to, speak on that. Like, Because at the time when he did it, he said he didn't do it. But I want to see, like, in hindsight, what he say? Because I mean, it makes sense to me, like, because Reed did the same thing to Cheek. Like, when Cheek was the guy, he was popping, Reed went at him, threw the shots at him, you know what I mean? And then Cheek responded, and that's when Reed wave went all the way up. Because now, you know what I mean, you going at it with the top guy. And I believe the same thing happened with Meek. Like, Reed was the guy at the time, and Meek going at him, and Reed responding pretty much validated Meek all the way. Like, Meek had a little name, a little buzz, but he wasn't on Reed level at all. Like, but once Reed responded to him and made it a thing, and them going back and forth, that blew Meek wave all the way up. I mean, that's how I'd say, in my opinion. I would have to get him to clarify, you know, that from his angle, as far as him going at him. But it would make sense that Reed the guy. It would make sense that Meek would go at him as opposed to Reed, because Reed really ain't had to respond to him. Like, and the same thing with the Cheek situation. Vodka told Cheek not to respond to him, but he did, and that, I mean, that helped Reed wave. And I don't know if niggas was telling Reed not to respond, and I don't know, but he responded, and that became what it became.
I mean, well, Meek situation, I remember him coming through my church. That's when, like, Next Time shit was out. Like, he just randomly came through my church one day, like, you know what I'm saying? Who this? He like, Meek Mill. I remember he put that shit in the rhyme. You talking about his Valentine's. I really said that to the nigga, though. You know me, I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm in the crib. I'm like, who the fuck is you? I want to battle. I'm like, bro, cause you know we popping on other levels. I'm like, damn, and I knew he was coming for me. So I was like, you know what? I just tried to let it slide for a while, but my niggas was in my ear like, bro, like, you gotta say something, bro. I was on his ass. You know what I'm saying? It was just on, and I put my focus on it. It was just on that.
Oven. I see Meek, I see a bitch, I think nothing of him. Fuck him, cause when the shit get critical, I'ma put a bullet in his head for every fucking individual. All in his ass, get his bitch a little physical. Stop getting your mans to chirp me, do what men would do. Listen, pussies, you niggas push me and you getting it. The casket, the flowers, that suit boy, you fitting.
Now fast forward to the top class, Touch Money versus Headshot shit. I done told this story on multiple of these episodes, but if you've never seen none of these episodes, that's your first one. I'm going to try to summarize it, so I don't want to make this episode super long, because it could go, we can do 8 hours talking about Meek and all different type of shit. So, you know, pretty much, you know, Meek got down with Headshots, you know, Bloodhounds, and, you know, NH was down with Touch Money and Top Class, and you know they used to be down together. At one point in time, they on opposite sides. NH was in a battle, the Headshots battle. It came down to him and still repping Headshots. NH repping Touch Money. NH beat still, you know, take the trophy back out there with Touch Money and them out west, when NH originally from North. And, you know, that sparked the whole little situation competitive wise, where, you know, some of the Headshot guys wanted to get their get back, and then they started going at it and all of that. And then a mix of that, like I said, Meek and Reed already, they on opposite sides, because Meek on the Headshot side and Reed on Top Class Touch Money side. So it was just natural for them to end up, you know, getting into it, because they already was into it. I don't know if it slowed down and stopped prior to that, or if it was a constant thing, but you know they've been going at it for a while. Like, it'll be beefing, dissing back and forth. I don't want to say beefing, because it wasn't really, I mean, no street stuff, but you know, dissing back and forth for a couple years. Like, so that was the height of it. The Headshots versus Touch Money Top Class, that was like the height of them going back and forth and all of that. And you know, like I touched on in the NH joint, like I keep referencing, you know, NH and Meek was going back and forth in the mix of this as well. He threw some shots at NH threw some shots back. So, you know, it was a crazy little back and forth, but it was legendary, and it made both of their names go up on both sides. Like, everybody wave went up, but Meek wave really went up to another level, because like I said, Reed was the guy, and once he went at it with Reed, like, that really put him on Reed level. I mean, like, that's one of the top guys in the city. So, you know, at some point, you know, he had the little situation with the other guy, Meek Mills from 9 Brigade. I don't even really want to say it was a situation because Meek, I don't think ever even responded or addressed this. I don't recall. I just know the guy, Meek Mills from 9 Brigade, he had came home. I think he came home from a murder, beat a murder or something like that. And his name Meek Mills, and he came home and he was saying like, other Meek Mill stole his name or whatever case may be, like pretty much trying to claim that and all that. And then because he from Southwest, I mean Reed, I believe he's from Southwest. Reed and the mix of they beef, Reed had did a song with him. They had pulled him in it. I mean, and all of that. But like I said, I don't think Meek ever responded or addressed that, and that kind of just like went away and all of that. Like, and as he should, I think he did the right thing. Not, I mean, addressing that because. Clear from Meek's story, say he got his name from his man. His name is Rameek. He called himself Meek, and this man called him Meek Millions, and he shortened it to Mills and all that. I mean, like, so I mean, like, it don't seem like he stole bull from 9 Brigade name. They ain't really, I mean, like, so. But I get it though. I get it. A nigga got your name, you come home. I mean, I get the whole situation, but I think Meek played it the right way. I mean, not responding. I mean. But shout out the boy from 9 Brigade too, ain't no disrespect to him, I mean. So, as far as them squashing it, you know, eventually it became a Reed Joey Jihad situation because Joey Jihad was the bigger name and Joey Jihad wanted to get in it too, so he kind of, you know, sent D Jones to throw some shots at Reed, and Reed threw some shots at Jones and pulled Head in it, so that's how him and Heady started, so it became like more of a Reed and Heady thing, you know what I mean? And then eventually it got squashed with the 3 Kings situation, Gilly coming in, you know, bringing them two together, making a 3 Kings, you know, song. They supposed to do a project, but I mean, it didn't come together because everybody was on their high horse, according to them, and they couldn't get in the studio. But, you know, Oskino actually brought Meek and NH together for them to squash on their side, because for NH, I mean, for Reed and Joey Jihad, they just squashed their stuff. But, you know, other people still had stuff going on that didn't get squashed. But once Meek and NH came together through Oskino and they did a song together too, that pretty much like was the end of the whole Touch Money, Top Class versus Headshot situation. Even though prior to that, you know, they tried to squash it a couple times. I mean, like, you know, they did the joint on, I think it was on Touch Money DVD where Headshots guys came to the studio. You know, Meek and them was in the studio and they started arguing, so it didn't get squashed that day.
Go talk about it like men, and Frank got hot in that room. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what went down. If everybody was stuck like, well, what was that about? What happened? Yeah. Frank got hot-headed in the room and Frank snapped on him. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, well, nigga, why is you in the street saying my fucking name? And you know what I mean? Yeah. And you know, Joey, like a female, you know, he strolls off out the studio. You know what I mean? Bam, Bob, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna call you, Eddie. I'm gonna call you, like. Yeah. But you know, that's pretty much what it's about. Like,
I mean, yeah, we got when fucking Frank and Joey supposed to be squashing their beef. Like, if you look at the DVD, we sitting in y'all niggas studio comfortable, like, cool the fuck out. Reed, you ain't say not one word when was in there, man. Lil came in the door. This real rap too. Lil came in the door like this, right this at the book. He got his head down the whole time in his own studio. That's pussy shit, man.
And then, you know, Reed and Meek was on the block. You know, when Reed was on down north, down Bob and on block, for the Headshots DVD, rapping on camera and all that. And then Meek pulled up. You know, Eddie Morris was out there with Reed, and then Meek pulled up. And, you know, a lot of people thought something was going to happen, even though they already, you know, talked on the side before that, letting it be known what was going on. But a lot of people didn't know that. So when Meek pulled up, a lot of people didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, because Reed was out there, and then Meek pulled up, and then, you know, he walked up, and they started going in and out, rapping and all that. So that was, you know, the end of the situation right there. I mean, that was like the end of Reed and Meek stuff right there.
You know what's going down out here with me and Reed, man? That shit ain't about nothing. That shit like a wrestling match or something, man. The shit popping, but you ain't getting hurt from all that talk, man. That shit ain't about nothing, man. Shit all game, man. When you see Reed Dollars asking himself that shit, he gonna tell you the truth, man. All them little DVDs that be coming out, man, that shit ain't about nothing, man. Niggas really know how I do out here, man. Anybody that knew me, you know I run around with real niggas all day, like real type of niggas that'll do something to you, hurt you with something, man. That rap really, shit ain't about nothing for real, man. It's all spin. That shit getting my name out here, getting his name out here. I'm saying, you gonna see us on shit in the future, though.
That shit, when y'all met up down my end and shit, like,
yeah,
when y'all met on 2-4 and R.
Yeah, that was the first time I seen him since that battle and shit. Out of the car, Eddie pulled me to the side, like I'm saying. We gonna squash that thing. I already talked to Bob about it, whatever. So it was squash from there on out. Then that DVD come back out, that drama shit come out, piping it all up again. You on there talking a whole lot of shit. His man and them on there rapping all crazy, so you know I had to come back with some more shit. Meek know how I do. That shit ain't really about nothing though.
And fast forward a little bit. You know, after the Three Kings stuff and after NH and Meek, you know, squashed they situation. I remember a situation running into Meek at the studio, me and Feast. We was going to Ghost Studio at the time, some white boy down north. I believe Ghost was going to like Temple at the time. He's a Temple student or something like that. And he had a studio in his basement. I mean, a lot of rappers used to go down there, so some rappers probably remember what I'm talking about. He used to make beats and stuff too, you know what I mean? So me and Feast, I forgot how we connected with him. I found out about him, but we was going to him at this time. And we had a session this day. So it was time for our session. So we go down there, me and him go down there. And Meek in there, he finishing up his session in there by himself, you know what I mean? So he about to leave out as we coming in, but as we go down the basement, he down there, I guess he getting like either a CD or a flash drive from Ghost, whatever he recorded. And he was leaving out, and I mean, we greeted each other. Like I said, we knew each other from Club Flow days and all that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we wasn't homies and nothing like that, but we was familiar with each other. Like I said a little earlier, he bought the DVD, the Bananas DVD. That, you know, that was our DVD, so he obviously watched it. I mean, he definitely knew who I was. He knew who Face was. Like, I mean, like, for sure. So we greeted each other briefly. We didn't really talk too much. I mean, we just had mutual respect. And he left out because he knew it was our session. I mean, we just basically like, I mean, we gonna holler later. We need to work or whatever the case may be, whatever we said. And I mean, it was all love. I mean. So yeah, left out, I mean, and then another time it was like an event at the Lid Core Center or something like that, like shortly after that. I didn't go, but Face went. He said he seen Meek, and I mean, holiday, same situation, I mean, like mutual respect and all that. So fast forward a little bit, I mean, so all this beef with the top class Touch Money stuff, this was made primarily like 2006. The beef with Reed started in like 2005. I think that's when the Drama DVD and the Block Cabinets DVD came out. It was like 2005. And so all of that carried on from 2005 to 2006. Now fast forward a little bit, 2007. That's when Meek catch, you know, the case, I mean, the infamous case they caught, you know, the gun case on in South Philly with the cops and all that, and they beat him up, and he had the famous picture, you know, his face all beat up, and when he was a young boy and all that. So he went through that situation. I believe that was like January 2007, if I ain't mistaken. So he was sitting for a little minute. While he's sitting in there, you know, he hearing about the Three Kings. So, you know, they stuff playing on the radio. So, you know, somebody from my hood that knew Meek, I ain't gonna say who, because I don't want to, you know, I mean, want to make it new. Even though it's not crazy, I just don't want people to know, like, you know, where the word came from. But basically, like, he was saying, like, through his communication with Meek, because I think they was locked up together at this time, and then he came home while Meek was locked up. He basically saying how Meek was feeling some type of way about the Three Kings shit, like, I mean, because he felt like he belonged in, like he was supposed to be one of them, like he's supposed to be one of he felt like he was in that mix of the Three Kings with Reed had. He felt like it should have been him, so either him in the part of the three or him replacing one of them. I mean, like, he definitely wasn't feeling that, and he felt like he should have been in there, according to, you know, one of the folks from the hood who knew him and had a relationship with him at that time and was locked up with him, or was talking to him while he was locked up. I mean, like I said, this is like back in 07. So also at this time, while he in jail, it's a situation where he started to feel some type of way towards Young Bob and all that. Now, mind you, Young Bob, you know, from the same hood, so that's how he even became a part of the headshot stuff and all of that. I mean, so while he in jail, you know, Young Bob and them, they holding him down, like, I mean, doing free Meek stuff, and I mean, free Meek parties and all of that. So they trying to, you know, hold him down and support him. Now that's where a discrepancy with them two come into play. You know, I did an interview with Bob and he spoke on this, like, so basically Meek felt like, he spoke on this in the DVD when he first came home, and he spoke on it later in the documentary. He ain't reference Bob and them by name, but he was pretty much speaking on the situation, pretty much saying how when he was in jail, he had a bell. I mean, we got locked up, he got a bell. I believe at the time the bell was like $95,000. I mean, and then 10%, 9,500, something like that. If I ain't mistaken, I mean, it could have been 75,000, 7,500, but I think it was 9,500 he needed to bail out. So he was pretty much like, he was pretty much heavily dependent on Headshots and Bob, because he figured like, damn, they selling DVDs, they got me on the DVDs, me on mixtapes, they doing free Meek parties, this, that, and the third. So when it come time to put up something for the bell, he's assuming and figuring that they gonna have something for him. And I think he even mentioned like they might have said they had something for him and never brung it or something like that. Like, that's according to his side and his story when he spoke on that in his documentary.
You ain't know? Huh? I said, that's what I told them. I said, real shit. I said, the name of the game, get the change, fuck the fame. If it ain't about no money, I ain't fucking with you, gang. When I was cuffed up in the chains, niggas ain't give me a holler. Bell 9,500, niggas ain't give me a dollar. That's the number one problem. No respect, no loyalty. Business over bitches, that's number one and most importantly. The day I fell, I knew y'all would be the ones that supported me. I'm calling phones, y'all hitting buttons, avoiding me. I was in my cell boiling. Like when I touch down, I'ma kill something. That's when I caught myself like, nigga, get a deal with something. Eat a meal with something. Getting rich and make them sick. The main ones I thought was real, they was fake as shit. Talking about they never changed, I needed help, they never came. Same time you making money off my name. Know it's fucked up in the game. Guess God just had to show me who to keep close to me. And on the real, you niggas owe me.
You go a little deeper about Headshots?
There ain't no deep to go. About 9,500 niggas ain't give me a dollar. You can't go no deeper than that. That's the whole thing right there. Man, you making money off my name. How deep can you go? Everybody know what's going on. Bell down there 10 grand, ain't give me a dollar. Like I don't even like keep on talking about niggas on DVD. I'm hosting it. Headshot ain't hosting this. I ain't trying to talk about them. I mean, let them niggas be over there. I mean, BH.
And at some point in time, Meek get booked. And I mean, he go to jail.
Yeah, but that was coming up. Yeah, Meek get booked for like he was in South Philly. He got booked for like holding, like he had somebody gun on him or some shit, and it was running in the law was the undercovers was running the crib. He get booked or whatsoever. But fucking Meek got booked. His bail was like 180,000 or some shit like that, and you had to pay like 10%, 18,000. Mind you, we running around broke. Like we just looking good cause it's popping, but we running around broke. And I kind of think like Meek forgot that shit though. I think he forgot we was broke. Like cause he was just like I remember one day he called me. It was like a Sunday morning. I was at Roman Catholic verse Scooping them. What Scooping them played for? Newman Goretti, I think. Yes. You know, we fucked with all the basketball players. Like we had the headshot ballers. Other than the rappers, we had headshot ballers, so we'd always be at the game. Now, you know, I see Meek folks like right before I walk in. They deep niggas from down south. They're like, yeah, you know, they pulling their money out on me. Like, yeah, we gonna take care of Young. I mean, you know, he gonna be good or whatsoever. I'm like, cool, man. You know, we need him back out here whatsoever. And then probably like a minute or something in the game, he called me. I'm at the game. I'm like, what's up with you? He like, what's up, Bob? What you doing? I'm like, I'm at the Newman game, at the championship game. You had a game? Fuck you mean you had a game? You supposed to be out here trying to get me some money and to get out. I'm like, dog, it's 10 o'clock Sunday. I mean, we had Scoop in them game and shit. You know, we just came. It was like Scoop versus Lee Waynes and Bradley. And I think DJ, like that. It was a major game. I mean, it was like the Catholic League championship. So he cursing me out and shit, and I bang on it, bang. Like I'm like, yo, like, you mean you got your little attitude or what's up? You know, call me when you fix your attitude. Bang, bang on it. So he called a band like on the side and all that, but I'm like, no, like I ain't put him in jail. Like he cursing me the fuck out, like I did it. You know what I mean? But I just think in the midst of that, he forgot what we was doing. I forgot that we was broke, man. We was broke, we was 18,000. He said, it's not that hard to make. All you gotta do is take the DVD, mind DVD not even yet. Take the DVD and go sell it everywhere. One by one, not wholesale, just sell it everywhere. I'm like, dog, it's not as easy as you making it seem. Like, it's never that easy. But in the mix of that, my cousin is locked up with it, my cousin from Frankfurt. And he just telling me, like, oh, they got it. They got it. I know the family got it. I'm like, dog, like he just making it worse and all that. And I just think that's where all that shit just went south. You know what I mean?
But according to Bob, on Bob's side, you know, Bob's situation, Bob pretty much saying like he ain't have what Meek probably thought he had. Like he wasn't making what Meek probably thought he was making off of that stuff. Like they was lit and they was known and everybody, they was popping. I mean, all of that. And DVDs was selling and shit like that, but I'm from based on Bob, I'm pretty much, I mean, based on what Bob's saying, I'm pretty much summarize it and say that he was pretty much saying that they wasn't making the kind of bread that Meek probably thought, so he ain't have like thousands of dollars laying around to put towards a Meek Bell the way Meek might have thought. So it's like a misunderstanding and discrepancy with that. So when Meek in jail, he trying to get out, like, so he hitting niggas up and I mean, trying to figure out who got what, and it came down to like nobody really having to inform him like that. So that kind of like caused the rift between, you know, him, Bob, and Headshots while he was in jail. I mean, so when he finally came home, he pretty much distanced himself from them and started dissing them. I mean, like, so that's pretty much how that went. I mean, like, so that was a crazy situation at that time for us in the city too, because everybody knew them to be together, had a nice little movement, a nice little run together. So for them to separate and he started dissing them and all that was crazy. You know, I think at around the same time period, I think Had was separating from them for his own reasons, and he was going at them as well. I mean, like, him and Meek was cool at some point in time. Like, I mean, and he did the Boss Man joint and all that. Like, they was doing a little shit together too. I mean, but Meek, I mean, I know I'm going a little bit, I mean, jumping around and might be going a little bit out of order and all that, but all this stuff around like the same time. I'm just trying to touch on, you know, the highlights of Meek's career early on. I mean, as much as possible that I can recall off the top. I mean, so bear with me, because y'all know Meek's story has got layers and layers and it's a lot to it. So, but from my perspective, I feel like Meek changed the game. This was a monumental moment early in his career with the In My Bag song. I mean, like, that was a game changer, because at the time, you know, In My Bag was a slang term that people was using in the city, like, early on. I mean, around this time that he came out with the song, this was the popular thing. He was saying, I'm in my bag and all of that, like, you know what I mean? So prior to that, you know, he's a DVD rapper like all the other rappers, like spitting bars and heavy with the bars and all that. Had little catchy little songs and all that too at the time, but it wasn't a radio banger like In My Bag. Like In My Bag hit the radio. First it got hot in the streets, then it hit the radio, you know what I mean? It went crazy. Like, so that was like a song from a guy from a freestyle DVD battle era who had older people singing this song, and people, moms and grandmoms and little kids. So that like put him in a whole different realm far as popularity and notoriety and stuff, that really was separating him from all the other guys in the city. You know what I mean? Like, so when he came home, he pretty much came home and turned up on his own independent type time. He did Flamers One joint, like that was a game changer mixtape. He had bangers, bro. He started coming with bangers. I mean, early on it was him and Sap. Sap had some joints, and then eventually start messing with Jalo beats and all that. So Flamers 1, then he got into Flamers 2, I mean, and that's when he kind of linked with Charlie Mack. Around this time, he said Charlie Mack, I believe he said he linked with Charlie Mack through Brock. He said Brock was bringing him a contract for a concert or something like that. I guess Brock was doing some bookings or something for him. He's bringing him a contract to sign, and Brock was messing with Charlie Mack at the time and all that. And I think he had Charlie Mack with him, and when he brought the contract to Meek and all of that, he knew Charlie Mack was doing a song and he was looking for somebody to get on it. And Brock pretty much recommended Meek to Charlie Mack, like, yo, you should put Meek on that joint. Like, Charlie Mack probably wasn't really too familiar with Meek, so he said they went outside in a car and Meek played Flamers 1 for him. He played a couple songs off of that. He said that I'm Not a Rap, I'm a Trapper joint really caught his attention and made him want to fuck with me. He said he called T.I. right on the spot, like, yo, I got this kid from Philly named Meek Mills, you need to do something with him. So he said like a couple days later or a week later, he was out LA, with T.I. I mean, T-Side T.I. co-signing him, fucking with him, like he want to do something with him. So that's why when T.I. came to the city, T.I. did a little, I guess like a press run or something to the city. And he had brought Meek Mill out and introduced him and announced him and stamped him like, I just signed this kid, Meek Mill. I mean, and all of that.
So, you also like Philly music because you're just not a Philly artist.
Yeah. It's my pleasure to announce to you that I just signed the newest member of Grand Hustle, representing North Philly and South Philly, Meek Mill.
I got a chance to link up with my man Charlie Mack through my man Brock. He took me out there, he said, I'll put you in the room and maybe do what you do.
Okay.
Yeah, I was feeling everything I was doing.
So T.I., you see artists every single day trying to get a deal. What made you sign him? Like, what was it about him that you said, I gotta put him on my label?
Well, I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, man, his style and his skills speak for itself, And on top of that, you can YouTube Meek Mills. You can YouTube Meek Mills and you'll see him holding his own in street battles. You'll hear him holding his own on the radio, that In My Bag. And and I think that the streets of Philly are behind him. And so he represents Philadelphia right now.
So Meek Wave was going up even crazy now. Like, you got Charlie Mack. I mean, they got T.I. co-sign. I mean, so now he really like separated from all the other guys, and he's got coming up with other singles like I'm So Fly. I mean, John go crazy. You know what I mean? Like I said, I believe that was for Flamers 2. I mean, so Flamers 1, I think he did prior to Charlie Mack, and then I think he dropped the Flamers 2 with Charlie Mack, because this was why he was going through his case. He was out on bail, but he was going through a situation still. And T.I. was going through his situation at the time too, I mean. So, in the mix of that, I'm going through all of that. Him and Quilly shit started brewing in the mix of all of this, I mean. And I touched on this in the Quilly joint, if you ain't watched that, the Quilly episode. This shit started brewing. It was more like on some competitive type time. I believe they had the same name, because earlier they was cool. They had songs together. They was on tracks together and all that. They had multiple tracks. The one joint when Meek and that nigga Lil was going in and out, and then Quilly was on the end of that joint going at Reed. you know, Hattie was on that joint too. I mean, so they all was cool. And they had another cool, but at the time, I think they just got competitive. They both had the same name. They both like the same age. And I mean, it was just on some competitive shit. They was on the same side for the headshot stuff, but they was in two different camps. Like Quilly Go Getters, Meek Bloodhounds. So, you know, I don't know what initially sparked it, but they was going through their little shit. And Meek had dropped that Hottest in the City joint. He had a nice little clip for Quilly on that joint. I think the third verse. I mean, he got right at Quilly on that joint. So mind you, Meek wavy at this time. He wasn't. I mean, he was letting it be known like I'm the hottest in the city. It's basically like a shot to everybody. But he really went at Quilly on that joint. But he was pretty much letting it be known he the guy. How much y'all little beats. I mean, stamping they sound. The whole Flamers wave and all that. He was doing this thing. You know, Quilly responded. He did a joint on Hottest in the City, and he dropped a couple other joints, two going at Meek on that Hain Street Hustler tape he dropped around that time. I think it was 2 or 3. I mean, whichever one of them Hain Street Hustler tapes he dropped, he was going at Meek on that joint. Now, like I mentioned earlier, Meek and Hattie was cool. Like, I mean, him and Hattie was cool. They had a nice little relationship, nice little rapport. They had nice little chemistry. They did songs and stuff together. Like I said, the Boss Man joint, like that was a crazy little joint they did together. And even though Quilly and Meek was going through their stuff, you know, Hattie maintained he was trying to stay out of it. He was trying to maintain his relationship with Meek. He was telling Quilly not to diss Meek and all of that. But Quilly, you know, Quilly did what he did anyway. Like, he did it anyway. And, you know, they did their little back and forth. And eventually, Hattie got in it because, according to Head, Meek had got word from like Cosmic Kev or somebody that Hattie had referred to him as Shorty and he ain't like that. And then he was bigging up Quilly in the battle with him and Meek, and pretty much bigging Quilly up. And then I think I don't know if it was online or in the interview or something like that. But he had mentioned like Quilly doing his thing against Meek or something like that. So Meek ain't like that. So eventually, you know, now Meek nigga go through both of them, like feels some type of way towards Head there, like I mean, but because Hattie the bigger name, you know, at that time, I mean, Hattie the bigger name, eventually he kinda started ignoring Quill and really like going at Head for the most part. I mean, so we're gonna get back to that because that's gonna continue later on, because you know, Meek eventually gets convicted. I mean, he get convicted of the gun case. I mean, once he got on the stand, I mean, they was going through the trial, and he had got on the stand, and they had questioning like about the situation. And one of the things that, you know, cooked him was when they asked him did he have a gun, he said yeah. So he pretty much pleaded guilty to having a gun. So he was convicted of that. I mean, but he was able to get, you know, because they was talking about it was looking bad for me. I remember when he first got booked, niggas like, oh, he done, because he was in I guess, I don't know if it was a trap house. It might have been a trap house. He was in South Philly, and there was a couple of them in there. There was drugs in the house. I don't know if it was a trap house or they just was in the house with some drugs. I mean, like, so somebody had some drugs on or whatever the case may be. But Meek said he had went to the store to grab a Dutch. Somebody told him to go to the store, grab a Dutch. I mean, they had some weed. They about to roll up. And he said, I'm going to just grab the gun because, you know, my pop got killed in South Philly and niggas get killed in South Philly. So I'm going to grab this strap and I'm going to go to the store. He said when he went outside, you know, somebody pulled up and hopped out. I mean, so he said, you know, we ducking behind the car like, yo, who that? He pulled the gun out like, who that? And they like, it's the police. So they pretty much gripped him up, grabbed him, beat him the fuck up, used his head to open the door, bust in the house. I mean, beat everybody up in the house, do what they do, and they find drugs in the house, and they catch Meek with the gun outside. So they try to put the gun and the drugs together, like to say he had both of them. They was able to do that. I think he would have got like a 5 to 10. So a lot of people were saying like it was looking bad for him, he might be done, like, but he was able to get. Charlie Mack was able to intervene. So Charlie Mack was down with him. He was able to intervene. He said he found a judge or a person who was a former judge to take the case, and they was able to argue that because the drugs was found in the house and the gun was found outside, they wasn't in close enough proximity to be together. So Meek just ended up taking a gun case by himself, and they was able to alleviate him of getting a drug charge too. So he was able to get, 11 to 23 months. I mean, he was sentenced by the judge, Janice Brinkley. So that's where it all started at with her. You gonna get to her later. Y'all, if y'all know the story, y'all know what happened with her. I mean, all that stuff with his probation. But that's where it started at, because he got 11 to 23 months, but he got 7 years probation. I mean, so that probation term was crazy, and it's gonna come back to bite him later on. So he ended up serving 5 months. I mean, and then he was released to house arrest to serve the rest of his time. Then he did the first day home joint with DJ Difference, the blog joint he did, or the DVD, the Can't Stop Won't Stop DVD. I mean, his first day home on house arrest in the crib. And that's when he started talking crazy. That's when I get back to that heady shit. He started talking crazy, really going that head. Like I say, he really started. Quill still was talking to him, talking crazy to him, still going at him. But Heady was the bigger name, the bigger draw. So he kind of really started ignoring Quilly and started really like going that head for real. Like, so making it a head thing. He was on the joint, doing push-ups, say he gonna knock head out, like talking crazy to head. I mean, that's a joke. He was counting the money, pulling the money out, and all that. And he's like, this ain't my money. I'm in here counting money, I'm fraud. But next time I had, such and such. I mean, and then right after that, that's how my story intertwined in the mix of that in this part of the story, because we filming the DVD at this time, and at the time, I had and Quilly going through it with Meek. I mean, but we cool with them. We cool with all of them, but we got, we more had a closer rapport with Heady and Quill, because we more seen them more around, Meek in South Philly, so we ain't see him as much, and we ain't be around him as much, even though he was around sometimes. We bumped into him sometimes, but we had a more closer relationship with Head and them, so we was getting them on the DVD, and we ended up had them hosting the DVD. So long story short, I told this in Head episode, and I think I told it in Quill episode too, so if y'all ain't see that, I'll briefly summarize. Long story short, we went down there to film Head, and as we go down there to film them, Head and Quilly already filming a blog, cause they was blogging back and forth at the time with Meek. Meek could upload a blog, they'll upload a blog right on YouTube. They were just going upload for upload. So as we going down there to film them, Heady and Quilly is in the mix of filming a blog with Flame the Boss. He got the camera rolling, and my man Tay, we walk in the room, they got the camera rolling, and then he pulled me right into it, talking about the situation with Meek the first day he came home. Like, yeah, remember when he was in there counting the money and fraud and like that? That's just like me sitting here counting the money and Show walk in and he see me, so now I gotta say I'm fraud and then all of that, because Show can expose me. So that's pretty much how but he's like, no, don't put Show in it. He just came to film us on the DVD. He ain't got nothing to do with it. But so he kind of pulled me right. So that was just crazy at that time how, I was in the mix of that, just through the Head situation, right? At this time when he was going back and forth and going upload for upload. And I always wonder, like, I hope Meek don't think, I got nothing against him and I'm siding with them. I'm just, I just happened to be filming with them, like, so that was a crazy little time. So they went at it for a while back and forth. Like that was a crazy little time, because they content was so entertaining. Like, them both blogs back and forth, and everybody talking about it, everybody tuned in. But eventually, Charlie Meck, he had intervened and tried to squash it. What Head and Meek pretty much like letting that not go no further than what it did, even though it wasn't really nothing too crazy for us on the street side and all that, but it just was going too far for us them battling and beefing back and forth. Like, it was going, like going too far. So Charlie May pretty much like squash it. Cause y'all ain't gonna fuck, like, he got investment, and me, he pretty much told Head and them, y'all not gonna mess up the investment type shit, cause that's what Head repeated when I filmed them for the Silverback season DVD. He had talked about that, mentioned that, said Charlie Mack had told him not to mess up the bag, but Young Pooh had came at him, during this time. So he had responded back to Young Pooh. He basically was saying, like, I'm trying not to go at Meek. I don't want to go at him, but
I mean, Bull coming at me. I mean, like, they was just going. I mean, they was talking their shit. Quill was popping their shit that joint too.
But as soon as the nigga come out of character, that's with anything, you feel me? On some street shit or whatever. Nigga come out of character, you got checking, you feel me? Or any type of way. If I can't do it physically, checking the nigga, we gonna do it over. Okay, you threw that bar at me, I'm gonna throw this bomb at you. You feel me? You threw a shot at me, I'm gonna throw this clip at you.
It ain't never nothing if you did. Look, it's just like this. If you smack me, I just gotta smack you one time the same way you smack me. No, I could go in after that. You initiated the first smack. Now this boom, 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 boom. It could be combinations or it could just be one. Or I could just, no, I'm gonna let him smack me like a bitch. That'd be a bitch move. Now, if I diss Quill, it's only right he get to diss me back. Now, if he diss me back, if he fuck me up, I'm gonna fuck him up back. I'm gonna go back in. This the type of nigga I am. If a nigga go at me, I'm gonna go at him. Now, if he going at me and you ain't, and I ain't going back at him, that's just telling you something. Like, at the end of the day, the streets want to see it. The streets want it. Fuck what I say. Fuck what he say. The streets saying who won. We gotta let them talk. They saying, yo, I think, yeah, you know. And we don't even get into all that, dog, because we be minding our business. But then when you see little videos and niggas doing shit and all that, like, as men, niggas ain't letting shit slide. Like, real shit. Like, I know y'all probably don't know who I'm talking about. I'm gonna say the name. I'm just gonna pop the name out there. Y'all probably don't know who I'm talking about because this person, nobody probably never heard of this person. Y'all probably ain't gonna know who I'm talking about. It's this boy named Young Pooh. I know what y'all thinking. Who the fuck is Young Pooh? It's this boy named Young Pooh though, right? It's some boy. He's supposed to rap with the boy and all that. So he going at Quill, and then he just decided to twist my name up in there and say he gonna Tupac me at the studio. But some old cool shit like this. And I'm like, damn. He know I'm trying to be nice and I don't want to go in on the board because Charlie Mack telling me to fall back because that ain't my place and all of that. He's saying, don't fuck up this money, man. You can't fuck up the house money. I'm ice. Let's get money. Shout out to Meek. I'm saying shout out to Meek. Let's go. It's squad. I say that. Why this freak ass nigga? He diss me though. Don't diss me thinking that I'm not going to. I say that to say this. If I came at Bull ain't fucking with me. I knew he wasn't fucking with me, but he must have thought I was on the shit like, Hattie big headed, he ain't gonna say nothing to me if I throw these shots. Cause he don't be coming at niggas when they say nothing. I don't come at certain niggas if I don't feel like it. But trust and believe, I did what I did because I had to, cause you thought it was a game. Now I gave you the flame that your man ain't giving you because you ain't got no name because your man ain't showing you no love. But I gave you
Your neck look like hot dogs, your fingers look like sausages.
You see, look, these all bars that I get niggas in there.
This is all shit that's true that we see. This is not we saw him take a shower with Young Pooh and they was holding hands on South Street. No. We're not lying. We're only rapping about what we see. You feel me?
Really bomb like Osama. We twin tower shit. Like, that shit really, A beat you like a bear until you out of it. My bitches see you, then they rank you on some Shabba shit. I be with them Haitians and Jamaicans on my Shabba shit. If he fall on me, be the only way we squashing it. See, all that's real bars. Sound like a Marion. Sound like Luda. You the fat kid off Super. Mixed with Rasputia. Yeah, you say, but you ain't Biggie, yo. Meek don't even dig your flow. You never on his tracks and you ain't never in his videos. I'm in my bag on this fat ass pig. Hog tie him and multiply him till his fat ass dead. Cock and pull it and put a bullet in his fat ass head. He gonna marry a fat bitch and have some fat ass kids. Wow.
You and your guy Meek, man, y'all end up, you know what I mean, on different sides of the fence, man.
Yeah, that shit was crazy too. Now, that situation was so crazy because that shit could have been avoided 1,000 times, you feel me? It could have been avoided 1,000 times, but it was like certain shit gotta happen for certain things to become like a little bit more better, you feel what I'm saying? Like, so it was like, at that time, it was just too much tension, bro. I ain't gonna even hold you. Like, you know, like at the end of the day, it could be niggas around me, it could be niggas around him. They could both be saying, yo, you the hottest, and they could be saying, you the hottest. So, and niggas back of their head, they just like, everybody wanna be number one. Like, that's the way that shit be. But I know for a fact, if, like, I was telling people don't diss him and shit like that, but, you know, this shit was like, cause like they both was supposed to battle for the name or something before like a long ass time ago. And this was like when Cole first started being a go-getter, but I was telling him like, no, that's my guy. Like, you can't really like go at him. Like, and I was telling him that shit like, and the only thing that we really fell out over was because, you know, like, I be bit and then they said that he was, well, this is the story that I got when Cal talked to Kev. He said, was it Kev or somebody was like, you was calling him Shorty or something. And he taller than you or something. I'm like, man, they younger than me. They like, I was just playing. I call everybody shit. Like I be saying shit, but like that's where it was. But like, you know, it was too much tension anyway. It could have been anything. I could have said anything, and he wasn't gonna feel it because at the end of the day, he knew it was some motherfucking animosity from my camp, whether it was from me or other niggas. But he knew for a fact it was some shit that he probably wasn't smelling. So that's how that shit was.
But eventually, you know, it died down, if I'm not mistaken, at some point around like 2009, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I believe it kind of died down. So yeah, it died down some, but it wasn't really over. Like they still had little, I mean, it just wasn't at the height of it like it was. It wasn't like blatant. I think now it became a little bit more subliminal to a degree. So, like I said, this was like 2009. So also, you know, another little monumental moment, you know, in 2009 for Meek was the Powerhouse. Jay-Z had, you know, came to Philly and was headlining Powerhouse that year, and it was a nice little lineup that year. And Meek ended up getting on that joint, know what I mean? So that was a nice little, he said he went on like two spots before Jay-Z. And you know, at the time, Meek lit in the city, so you know, the love and the feedback and shit he got, and that joint, I can only imagine. I wasn't there, but I only can imagine. But we did catch him like right after Powerhouse. Like he was at, you know, 215 Swag Shop right there on 5th and Tabor. Shout out to my man D. He ran that joint. He had like a sign there at this time. This when he was dropping, I believe, Flamers 2.5 mixtape, and he was doing like in-store signing for it. So D had reached out to me, hit me up like, yo, I got Meek coming to the store on this day, whatever day it was. Say it was Friday or something. I got Meek coming to the store. I mean, he doing an in-store signing this day, this time. Like, come through with the camera and get him. And I mean, get him. He did it on that type of time. Like, come through. He used to always, I mean, he was so anything you had going on, his ciphers, whatever he had going on, he'd tell us to slide through. Like, and anybody had at the store, he'd tell us to slide through. So this one, I mean, this was a regular shit. So we already had like I mentioned, still we had a little rapport with Meek. So it was like, all right, yeah, we come through and get him. Like, so at the time, you know, we got the clothes and shit rolling, got the DVD shit rolling, all that shit rolling. So we come down there, I mean, with the camera and shit. So he's sitting at the table. I mean, at the table, it's a couple people in the store and all that already. I mean, so Charlie Meek standing right there on the side, a couple other people in there. So I'm about to go holler at Meek. I got a little shirt, I'm about to give him a shirt, DVD and all that. And Charlie Meek had stopped me like, oh, cause he don't know me. You know, I mean, but he seen I had some merchandise and stuff I'm about to give me. So he like, oh, he stopping me and shit. Like, nah. And Meek pretty much like stopped him like, no, this my folks. Like we came up together. We came up in the same circle. Like, you good? So then Charlie Meek chilled, fell back. And I mean, I walked up to Meek. I gave him the shirt. I mean, I think I gave him a DVD. I mean, one of the past DVDs we just dropped or whatever the case may be. And then we was filming him, and that's when he asked like, yo, was this some bananas or just some new shit? Asking what the name of it, because you know he's familiar with our DVD series, because he bought the first one. So I mean, he gave us a little blog, gave us a little shout out and all that. He talked this talk, and I asked him about Powerhouse. He talked about Powerhouse because he just finished doing it. And I mean, one of the things he ended with was, as you niggas hating cause you mad, or you mad cause you hating. Cause like I said at the time, they was going through, so he basically throwing a shot at them, like Hattie and Quill and whoever else, like, he felt like was hating on him at the time, but primarily them. Like, you already know we go. Thanks 2.5 in the building. He said he fed. He said fly, but he's selling like 2.5. The famous one, y'all selling like 2.5 now, man. And also while we was filming him, he was trying to quote my brother Face, one of his bars on the Wire DVD. I think it was Wire 4.5, you know, and had came down to film us. And Face had spit some bars and had started it off with like, area mob, everybody bang they gun. I'm on Venango selling like Flamers 1. I mean, because at the time Flamers 1 was popping. So Meek used to be on the Wire DVDs too. So he had actually watched the DVD, obviously, he's seen that part on there. So when he seen that part, he was feeling it. I mean, because he was talking about Face was talking about his mixtape. So when we seen him and we was filming him, he was quoting that bar like, you know, he said, "Fly boy sounding like Flamers 1." I mean, and then he's like, "Now y'all sounding like 2.5 now." Like, so he said, I was feeling that 100. Like he really was fucking with that bar.
You already know what we do. Flames 2.5 in the building. He said he feel it. He said Fly Boys be selling like 2.5. Flamers 1, y'all selling like 2.5 now, man.
Early,
Yeah, my shit, I'm feeling that 100, man.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Trying to get it.
Yeah, you down powerhouse, I mean, I heard you tore it down. I mean,
Yeah, rocked it out, man. 215 affiliated, man. See this right here? It's where the dreams come true at, man. Yeah, man.
Early, man. Go get that, man.
Powerhouse is crazy. We getting it, man. We doing what we do, trying to get to the money. You already know. I mean, what's this? Bananas or some new shit?
Yeah, some banana shit. We don't know which one we're gonna call it.
We're going bananas, then. That's what we want to do.
Tell niggas what they can look for from after the 2.5
shit. Next month, man. Right before Christmas, man. They want that. Then they gonna get the album in January. We're going hard. You understand? In the building, over in the cut.
Yeah.
5 boys in the building. Meek Mill. We doing what we do, man. Getting money. No hate involved.
Early. That's what's up, dude.
One question before we leave, man. Is you niggas hating cause you mad? Or is you mad cause you hating, man?
So now let's get to touch on the Cicero controversy a little bit. You know what I mean? Because the Cicero controversy was a crazy situation, crazy time. You know, the Silverback season DVD covered this. This with the Meek footage and the Meek blog that I was just talking about was on the Silverback DVD. So also on this DVD was the Cicero situation. I mean that goes along with Meek getting locked up. So Meek, it was this controversy got a lot to do with Meek. I mean, so basically, before Meek got locked up, you know, he was rolling like I said. I mean, he was popping. He had the song on the In My Bag shit rolling. I mean, on the radio. And I think he had another joint that it might have been rolling if I ain't mistaken. One of the other joints may have been rolling. And that at the same time, Cicero was getting some radio love. He had the Swag It Out joint. He had the Swag It Out remix. I believe Meek was on that joint. Meek Gilly. I mean, a couple other people I think was on that joint. And he had another song called In the Air. So he had a couple songs on the radio in rotation. I mean, so him and Meek was like killing the radio at this time with the songs as far as like Philly independent artists from the DVD era. So then when Meek get locked up, like I said, people were saying it was looking bad for Meek. He was saying he might get 5 years. Like, I mean, so people were saying that if he get 5 years, it's over for him. He going for 5 years. He ain't going to come back after 5 years and do nothing. Like, so a lot of people wrote Meek off and was counting him out. That's why he said when he was in jail, he was trying to get money from people. He was reaching out to people, nobody. I mean, he felt like nobody was, I mean, everybody pretty much was ignored. Like, he couldn't get no rhythm from nobody. So that's another reason why when he came home, he turned up like he did. But so people felt like he was done. And then the next person in line would have been Cicero. So everybody kind of flocked to Cicero according to Cis. Like, and I kind of seen it myself too. Like, Cicero started being on the DVD covers that Meek was on. Cis on them now. Cis getting all the radio love. The people that was hollering at Meek and all that, they start hollering at Cis. So then when Meek come home, everybody jump right back to Meek. Like, Meek home now, so we don't need Sis boy. So Sis feel like everybody just like cut him off and like threw him to the side and abandoned him. So when we did an interview, he pretty much spoke on that, like pretty much saying like, I mean, Cosmic Kev and Charlie Mack kind of like, I mean, like conspired against him on Meek behalf. Now Meek ain't had nothing to do with this. I don't think Meek ain't seen. I mean, like this is all like they doing according to Sis. Now I mean, he felt like once Meek came home, they just pretty much cut him off and blackballed him and ostracized him. And he ain't never had no rhythm with the radio since. And once he exposed it on our DVD, it definitely never. I mean, he never recovered from that. I mean, but we know later on he started battling all that stuff. But as far as like him in a radio situation, it never was the same. And he kind of, you know, feel like that situation with Meek kind of, you know, changed everything for him. I mean, so that was a crazy, like I said, Meek ain't say, I mean, he ain't never say Meek said to do that to Sis. I don't think Meek gave a fuck that Sis was, I mean, like, too much. Even though Sis did mention that Meek might have mentioned to Kev when he was in jail, like, why I keep hearing Cicero shit and all that. I think Sis mentioned something like that, but Again, I wish I could get Meek interviews with my man one day so we could get him his side to clear all of this up. Like, but this is Cicero's story.
I don't even really want to sit here and talk indirect. Like, I want to, you know what I mean? You gotta air this shit. Like, this shit it's crazy, man. Fuck it, man. It is what it is. Nigga, Cosmic Cab. You got fucking Charlie Mack. I guess these niggas is coinciding together trying to do their thing with Meek, which is not like, it's not a bad thing. It's good. Do that for him. You feel what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, a nigga like me, I deserve and have to have my own lane to, you know what I mean, to have my shit doing the numbers that it's supposed to do. Like the way they doing me right now, I ain't supposed to be getting done like that. You feel me? Like, I'm supposed to be able to have the streets and have the radio. Like, I'm one of them niggas. I already proved my point when I did Swag It Out in the Air, Swag It Out remix. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's just not cool how niggas is trying to play niggas out. They trying to block niggas out from succeeding and getting this money out here. Like,
so now let's get fast forward. So that was Silverback 1. Let's get to Silverback 2. This one, the situation with LP kicks off. We got a little situation with LP. Nah, I mean, like, so this started over, I believe this was on